Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC Vegas 43. The main event is Miesha Tate versus Ketlen Vieira. And to be honest with you guys, I'm not super excited for this fight. I'm not going to lie to you. I know some other people probably will say, I am so excited for this main event. I'm not one of those people. I told you guys I'm always going to be honest about how I feel about fights, and I'm not particularly excited about this main event, but this video is going to be my full breakdown and prediction of that fight. I almost didn't do this video, but every main event since I started the channel, I've done a breakdown and prediction, so I didn't want to miss this one. I mean, it's semi-relevant. Miesha Tate's ranked number 8 in the UFC official rankings, while Vieira is ranked number 7. And it's kind of relevant to the bantamweight division. If Miesha Tate wins, she probably will be fighting for the title next. That remains to be seen, but I believe that'll probably be the case. And really, when you look at this fight, and, it's just... I don't know if people are really tuning in to watch Miesha Tate versus Ketlen Vieira. Luckily, the card itself is not particularly bad. You have Adriana Yanez versus Davy Grant on the card. You also have Michael Chiesa versus Sean Brady, which I've already done a prediction video for. But this fight, you look at Ketlen Vieira. She has some notable names on her resume. But, and the best fighters that she fought, she lost. She lost to Yana Kutsukaya. That was her last fight, February of this year. She lost by decision. She had some moments in this fight. She had Yana Kutsukaya, full mounted, but she just didn't, there wasn't like a sense of urgency. There wasn't the killer instinct to look for a finish or really just be active. And she ended up getting reversed at multiple points and just basically ended up losing the decision. I don't remember how I scored the rounds or anything like that. She's a win over Sijara Eubanks at UFC 253. Okay, what does that really mean? And then the other loss before that was a stoppage loss to Irene Aldana, and she absolutely got starched out cold. I think it was a left hook that put her down. Then Aldana followed up with ground and pound, put her out cold. Before that, she fought Kat Zingano, won by split decision. Sarah McMahon won by submission. She just really doesn't have an impressive resume. I mean, the best win on her resume is Kat Zingano by split decision. That's 3 years ago in March of 2018. Not all that impressive, but when I look at this fight and I look at both fighters, Miesha Tate has been out a long while. And I know, technically she has a fight this year, but I'm talking about she was out a long time before she returned against Mariana Renault. July of this year, she won via TKO in the 3rd round. And it was your typical Miesha Tate. Honestly, I don't know if she was training the whole 5 years she was off, but she just never really evolved. She's just the same girl she always was. She's a pressure fighter. She's looking for takedowns. She's looking to ground and pound you. In this case, she got it. She wore Mariana Renault down and TKO'd her in the 3rd round. I wasn't particularly impressed, and Mariana Renault was on her way out. This was her last fight. She was retiring after this. So I don't know how much stock, I know a lot of people after that fight was like, Miesha Tate's back and she's so great and this and that. She TKOs Mariana Renault. I wasn't all that impressed. Before that, she fought at UFC 205 back in 2016 against Raquel Pennington. And what I actually found particularly funny when I was looking at this, so UFC 205, when she lost to Raquel Pennington, was the same card that Conor McGregor beat Eddie Alvarez for the lightweight title and became the first ever double champ. Well, what I found interesting, even though Miesha Tate retired for 5 years after that, Miesha Tate and Conor McGregor have the same amount of wins since UFC 205, which is 1. Miesha Tate has the win over Mariana Renault, and Conor McGregor has the 1 win over Cowboy Cerrone. So I thought that was particularly interesting. 1 retired for 5 years, 1 semi-active, not really. But I just thought that was interesting considering they fought on the same card. Before that, she was the champion, and she got absolutely demolished by Amanda Nunes at UFC 200. 1st round stoppage, rear naked choke, but she got demolished on the feet and then submitted on the ground. Before that, she won the title against Holly Holm. She was losing the entire fight. This was on that Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor card. She was losing the entire fight. She gets Holly Holm down in like the last 2 minutes of the 5th round and locks up a rear naked choke and chokes Holly Holm out cold. Super impressive performance. Even though she lost the majority of the fight, she pulls it off in the 5th round. I thought that was incredibly impressive. And Miesha Tate is one of these women who kind of brought women's MMA into the UFC. She had those fights with Ronda Rousey where she lost via armbar, I believe it was, in both of those fights. And Miesha Tate, I feel like she's one of the early women's MMA fighters. And like I said before, when she returned against Renault, I don't really feel like I've seen involvement in the game. And while the UFC women's bantamweight division, I don't feel like has evolved extremely. I feel like the division is much better than when Miesha Tate left it. I mean, you look at the division, you got Germaine Durmandamine. I think she's better than Miesha Tate. You got Holly Holm. I think she's better than Miesha Tate, even though Miesha has the win over Irene Aldana. I think she beats Miesha Tate. Juliana Pena, maybe that's competitive, but I'd probably favor Pena. Number 5, Aspen Ladd. I think Miesha Tate could probably beat Aspen Ladd. And I just think the division as a whole has gotten a lot better since Miesha Tate's left. She left back in 2016, and I know she returned and got that win over No, but not that impressed by it. And to be honest, when I'm thinking about this fight, and it's not like I'm sitting around putting a whole lot of thought into it, but when I've thought about this fight and what's my prediction going to be, I've really gone back and forth because I look at many factors when I try to predict a fight, whether it be resume, what the level of competition they fought, activeness, just overall skill set in general. And you look at Vieira, she hasn't really fought anyone that good. And when she has, it's either been a loss or not that impressive of a performance. But Miesha Tate's had one fight since 2016, and it was against a woman who was retiring on her way out. So honestly, I look at the fight, and the way I see it really going down, Miesha Tate likes to fight one way. She likes to press forward, look for takedowns, look for ground and pound, and eventually finish. I think she has the better stamina. I think she has the better gas tank. But I think Ketlen Vieira probably has a little bit better striking. I'm not, I don't believe that 100%, but, that's just how I feel right now. I think that Vieira probably has a little bit more power in her hands as well. I think she has the better submissions, and we've seen Miesha Tate get caught in submissions. And really, I flipped back and forth. I was either going to pick Miesha Tate by like a 4th or 5th round TKO or decision, or Ketlen Vieira via like 2nd round submission, 3rd round submission. I think Miesha Tate's going to press forward, look for the takedowns, and I think Ketlen Vieira is probably more prepared than she's ever been in her entire life for this fight. She knows it's a big opportunity against a big name in women's MMA and Miesha Tate. And I'm going to go with Ketlen Vieira. I'm going to go with her by 3rd round submission. I just think Miesha Tate, she's very sloppy on the ground. She gets really crazy looking for ground and pound, which I like. I mean, I like that she's aggressively looking for ground and pound when she's on top. But I think eventually Ketlen Vieira is going to catch her in a bad spot and submit her. Not super confident about that pick. I mean, again, I flip back and forth between the two. But that's the most likely scenario. I just don't believe. I think the division has evolved too much for Miesha Tate. I don't believe she's that good. I believe, she's just years older now. And I just think Vieira is going to get it done. 2nd round or 3rd round rear naked choke submission is my official prediction. Do me a favor, guys. If you enjoy these prediction videos, make sure to like the video. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching.